The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purpose only. It's not intended as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. All trading involves risks, and you should only trade with money you can afford to lose. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. The trades and strategies shown are my own opinions and are shared purely for transparency and learning purposes. So we're in Tempus AI. And as always, I do the top-down method, which is starting from high time frames and going down to lower time frames. For the week, I use a gray line, and I know there's a lot of mess going on in here, and I clean up a little bit from yesterday, just so you can see the process as is. So it's still kind of going down in a downward trend, and you can see the EMA crossed over price and prices underneath those two lines, which kind of indicates that another one of the indicators that indicates that it's going down, and it also crosses through our trend line. So even though it has like little specks of greens, like these little pullbacks, which I think we're in one right now, it still looks like on a weekly time frame that it's going down. And where I would put a candle, or sorry, put a line where I suggest price might go is I put a gray one in there. Horizontal line. And you always want to keep the lines around price. And I know there's a lot going on in my chart, and I'll show you more as we go down, like what these kind of things are. So on a day chart, I go with white lines. And let's get some of these guys out of here. Okay, I think that's for the most part out of there. So what we're going to look for is another line that we can actually mark. But I think these gray lines, these gray day lines, week lines, are kind of like on the same path where I would drop my week lines is. And as you can see, we got enough lines on this bad boy, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to go down to the hour. And this is where, turn my indicator off. Okay, cool. So now we got that guy off. This is where I'll show you basically more of why I have these supply and demand zones. So I'm actually going to have to change this supply zone because it started off as a supply zone, which instead of like just creating a bunch of lines, you create a zone, right? So this zone stands for like where this drop off, a decline. That's what kind of made it a supply zone. But then it turned into, and I know it's going to be complicated, which is a demand zone. So I'm trying to see if I can find a different demand zone that I can actually show you what that looks like, right? And this would probably be another demand zone. And where's my little, so I grab my rectangle and I would block that off as a demand zone. And I'm learning as you're learning, so any help, any tips? And then what I do is I name it supply zone. And I change the border colors to green to tell me that in the same color as a upward candle, because as you can see, it goes upward, right? And I'll make it easy for you and draw a trend line. This is kind of just to show you. This is not cooperating with me right now, but let's see if we can get the trend line to work. And there we go. As you can see, that was a big movement, and it stopped around here. But I'm going to show you there just because that's what breaks the trend. But as you can see, that's probably close to a $2 movement or a $3, probably even more than that. That's probably like close to like a $5 movement right there. But that's just to show you like that's a supply zone. When you have a big jump or big movement and it's going in an upward fashion. So that's why I created the green candles, because the green candles you probably associated with going up. So that's why I named that as a supply zone, right? And you even have like value candles right here that kind of like also indicate that this was a kind of a supply zone. And the thing with these zones, right? The more touches, the weaker that supply zone gets. So you can see it really bounced there, then it came down, and it bounced again off of that supply zone, but it didn't really go that high. And it bounced again, and then it kind of turned into a demand zone. Well, not really. I mean, I say that because this is not part of that zone. So it still stayed a supply, but it's kind of weak because it's kind of, after a while, it kind of loses its bounce, so to speak, and it's not the same anymore. But I'm going to delete that one because I just wanted to show you basically what that looked like. So where we're at now, right? And let's go into the extended trading hour sessions just to see. And as you can see, that just created a new supply zone. So we could take this guy, it's already there, and make a new supply zone. And I don't know if you can see that, price takes off right there. You got a new supply zone. And it's actually a new supply zone. So this is probably going to hold some weight if it could come back down here and bounce up there. This old demand zone, I'm probably going to have to change it because the price is kind of like bouncing off of that. Or we can actually take that out. Let me see. Because it was a demand zone because as you can see there, it went down that massive red candle, but now it's more like a supply zone. So I'm going to change that to a green. I mean, sorry, not supply zone, demand zone. Get my zones mixed because I'm learning this as I go too. And the more stuff I learn, the more stuff I give to you guys. So where we're at now is we're still kind of out of that channel that, but this is a weak line right here. So that also signifies something. And as you can see, price almost touches it, that touches it, then it pops up from there. So I am going to, where's price at right now? 49.59, so to speak. Right, so I'm going to see what I can see. So from this point, I guess I can draw it from there. It looks like price is consolidating a little bit. And I'll put a horizontal array right there so you can see it. And I'll change that too. yellow so it's not as confusing, and I'll make it a straight line so you can see it. So as you can see in there, like price is really consolidating in there, and then it looks like it's, well, it is an ascending triangle, right? But I either think that price is probably going to get close to that trend line if it's going to go up, and if I had to make a guess, I will put my first take profit around here at 50, 80, and my TP2, grab that guy, and that would be my TP2 right there. So 50, 80, and 5171 would be my two take profits, right? But if we, that's if price, I feel like, comes back down here and this zone that turned into, that was a supply zone turned into demand zone. If it drops through this zone, which is possible because this zone has numerous touches, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking it's dropping, and my first take profit on this side would be 47.20. And then I would use this supply zone as my second take profit, and I probably would, let me move it up in case, because you don't want to get too play around too close to that supply zone because you don't know if it's just going to make like a rapid bounce on you. So I probably would take profit before that, and that's what I have.